You know, it's, the irony is not lost on me. God damn it, where's that? I can't get the, I somehow no longer have room to fit my mouse down where I would have my mouse. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I've done. Let's do this thing. You ready? Can you hear me? You should have been able to hear something by now. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and right off the bat, you should notice we have a new project here. So this is going to be kind of fun here today. And I got lots of stuff going on during the week and all kinds of stuff to talk about. So yeah, glad you're here. Hello, Rainbow. I see that you're already chatting. That's awesome. Hello. We don't have a secret word this week. So yeah, I'm kind of looking to see if like anybody wants to contribute to it, or I've even been thinking about like maybe even doing a bag as the prize, seeing as how it like seems to last such a really long time. So I haven't really come up with any thoughts. I don't know what's going on. I couldn't even think of like a clever word to use again. Like, you know, the last time it was Detroit. We had caffeinated, which I didn't think anybody would get that too easily, and they did. Hang on. I killed my footrest. That was unintentional. Anyways, so yeah, the whole lot of things going on. I just didn't come up with anything clever, and but yeah, why is this there? Like, that was not in focus. So yes, new bag. This thing is pretty exciting. This is 8 loops. Each loop is 12 strings, 6 colors, or 2 colors. These look wider because every time this one connects to this, it wins, you know, and then bounces the color back here. I'll actually show you that here. So, like, as this comes across and gets to that green, it ties the knot, and that's just 2 knots make that big of a difference, which is absolutely blowing my mind. It's an incredible thing. But so what this came down to is I was going through all my floss, right? I have got like quite a bit still here, and I noticed I must have been avoiding the greens because there seemed to be a lot more of them than some of the other colors. So I was like, all right, let's do something with green. And there was an awful lot of these 2 colors. And I'm like, okay, so that can be kind of the dominant thing. What else can I do? And then I picked out these 6 colors here. So they're all kind of green-ish. The 3 of them are more like a kind of an aqua twist on the green, kind of a little bit more in blue in the mix of the blue and yellows. So I thought that was kind of cool. See, I did the thing without even thinking about it. Got to the end, the yellow bounces back in, but because it takes up that space, that's how this gets wider. So back to this. So we got greens and we got the aqua colors. And what I've done is I've alternated every other one to have this one starts with the blue, this one starts with the green. And then so after the green comes this one, comes blue. After this blue comes this green. And the green down here is sort of a foresty green with bits of like new leaf growth kind of stuff going on. So it's kind of fun. I'll have the pattern for this over on AKAAWOL.com. Not yet. It'll be after I release the video. So the whole start of this thing I've actually recorded and logged all kinds of interesting things that I discovered along the way and how I'm doing it and stuff. So basically I won't have anything to record for the tutorial until I get like towards the end. So I figured that made it kind of perfect for working on here. So here's, okay, so the one thing about this is obviously it's like having multiple bracelets, right? So like you have completely different designs going on. This is, if you're wanting to try dabbling in something like this, this is the absolute easiest you can do, because the chevron is one of the easiest patterns there is, right? It's the most mindless one of them all. However, it does make it a little bit difficult if you're only doing one row and then seeing what happens outside of that. So what I came up with was this idea that instead of just doing one row at a time, I'll go ahead and bring this down as far as I can. Obviously, I can't go beyond, you know, like keep it coming down like a bracelet would, because that would be bad. But I can bring it to a point like kind of like what we have over here, right? And that means that there's 6 strands coming down to that point. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and that gives me the ability to work inside of that for 6 knots, or 6 rows. And with just that, that ability to concentrate on one area is essentially segment knotting. And if you can segment knot, obviously you can go faster than it would be if you could imagine trying to go around one row at a time around this whole thing. That would be a nightmare. You wouldn't necessarily be able to keep track of where you were or what was going on. Total nightmare. This way allows me to be able to stay focused on one particular area and work on that. So what else we got here? Oh, so obviously this is sort of taken off of the last bag I did, which was this one, right? So in this one, it's kind of wide, so it's kind of hard to show you. Okay, so like just if this is the one skinny row, you only would have the one diamond down here, and here I have 2. And the reason I'm extended this longer, this area made it longer, is because I don't want to end up putting the extra rows down here at the bottom, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this segment and the segment after that to be the 2 rows longer, and I think it's just 2, yeah, like 2 rows longer, and that will give me that extra length, so I still have the length of the bag itself, without having to do something weird at the end. The neat part of that is, because of how it goes on these, from this diamondy thing to this sort of, I don't know what you want to call this chevron-ish end, means that I can't inadvertently do too much of these, because this is exactly how it'll end. It'll come with a complete arrows, diamonds coming all the way out to close off this whole bag. And I don't know, this was a little revelation I had, and I'm still kind of marveling over how like perfectly done this whole thing is. So if you're into trying something different and fun and a little bit more challenging, this is a great project for that, I think. And yeah, I'd like to see what other colors people could use. I've been kind of talking in the other video about some of my ideas that this could be cool with. Like if you did either one, either the chevron or this in a rainbow of 6 colors, and then did the other segment in a grayscale, I think it would be spectacular. I think that would be a really, really fun one. But yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities with a pattern like this. So I'm definitely encouraging you guys to try it out. If you make it, obviously, I would like to see, you know, what you do. So, like if you post on Instagram, just tag me, because obviously, I get really excited about what I've inspired others to make. So. There we go. So it's kind of quiet. Kind of feel bad that we don't have the secret word, because that would mean that at least people would have reason to chat. And I've already forgotten what I put behind the two buttons. Let me see what we have here. Oh, this is the pattern of what I'm working on. Right. So here you can see how I use the rainbow to cover the greens and the blue, because it's easier to see with this, you know, which ones are which. But you can see how the pattern lays out. And this is what's going to be on the website. So that's the plan. So if you need a pattern to work off of, this is what it'll be. And like I said, I'll put it over on the website. It'll be easier, you know, even if you're on like a mobile device, it'll be easier to see from there. And then this, I finished the blue pillow, and just today it came back all sewn up with the stuffing and everything in it. And yeah, it's pretty epic. So really, really excited about that. So yeah, that's going on. Oh, and so back in the 90s, I used to have the gravity boots. It's for, you know, so you can hang yourself upside down. I just got myself another pair today, and my back popped, and I feel so much better, and I'm all kinds of, I was really kind of dreading the whole having a live stream tonight because I wasn't feeling well. It turns out after my back popped, I feel great again. So I guess that's what was wrong. I don't pretend to understand how these things work or whatever, but I know that, you know, sometimes sitting in the chair too much or whatever, like that gets a little bit weird. This turned out to be pretty cool. And then I got this thing under my desk, that thing that I was diving down under to get to earlier before. I got a footrest from IKEA, and I'm trying to use that now to see if that doesn't help with some of the back issues. And if anything, if nothing else, it keeps me from like tucking my feet up underneath the chair, which I know that has been leading to all kinds of various other problems with my back and my hips and stuff. So if it just breaks the habit of doing that, then it's done its part. So I'll be happy. So we're going to have some fun here tonight too. I have 2 small bottles of wine. And when I say small, I really mean it, like pint-sized bottles of wine. Mandy's going to take a sip just to try, but I am going to drink said wine, because that sounds fun. Do you guys ever get this? Like every once in a while, you'll be like tying things happily along, and suddenly the end just gets itself in a twisted little knot. I really find that annoying. It doesn't happen all the time, but every once in a while, then. So am I supposed to mull it over? Sure. Blue pillow. I didn't get a video this afternoon. She only came by here this evening to drop it off. So I haven't got any pictures of it as a pillow yet. she was upset because the thing is sort of stretched sort of obscurely, like the bottom right hand corner kind of comes down further, and she was like upset and like didn't want to charge me as much because she didn't think it came out very well. I'm like, that's my fault, like that's got nothing to do on her. So I don't know how she took it on herself or whatever, but yeah. No worries. No worries. Okay. So now I need to do the diamondy part of this blue. So of course, you can imagine, like pretty much every time I do tutorials on a particular topic or whatever, it just kind of escalates, right? So like the last few bags have all been sort of stemmed off of the one design. Well, before that we had the whole everything dovetail. So now it's a lot of playing around with this pattern here. And if you're not familiar with that part of this stuff, you probably have not watched enough of my videos, but I've already got a plan going for what's going to happen after this one. So yeah, Mandy just got started on the kumis for the loops and the other parts of it. So yeah, pretty excited about where that's all going. It's going to be well, let's put it this way. When it comes to the mixed bracelet thing, this one is the easiest. So the next one is going to be partly mixed bracelet and partly all the same pattern as this one. Kind of somewhere in between, really. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Ooh. That's kind of groovy, except for it would be real easy to just kind of... The one thing that kept people going, like the one girl was like asking me when it came to the secret word, like if she just started putting everything from the dictionary. And I was just like, yeah, see, numbers are a whole lot easier. You know, you just start it, like we know that these bags here have been 96s. You just start at 96 and build your way up. You probably hit it pretty quick. Plus, I'm not sure. I wonder if the bot would even do numbers. Maybe? That's weird. I don't know what the bot's capabilities are. I know that it picks up on the words pretty cool. Because that was pretty neat. But yeah, I get where you're going with that. That is kind of a cool idea. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking that like the bracelets and stuff were fun. Like and like you had contributed on that one bracelet that we did. God damn it. I can see that there's a little knot here, and for the life of me, it just seems like should be real easy to pull it apart. But then I can't focus on things so tiny. Or if I knew how many colors were actually in the giant bucket bag, oh, that would be a good one. Because it was the leftover string from the 144 colors, and then I added a bunch. But unfortunately, I have no idea how many colors I added, because I was just kind of clearing out at some point, and that got out of hand. That was way fun though. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody the other day about like, they were talking about like big projects and stuff in general, and you know, could I make a shawl? And I was just like, look, I did the wall hanging that's, you know, about as big as any shawl would be, and that thing took 9 months. Like, that is unrealistic to think that anybody's going to pay me for 9 months of tying knots to make a shawl. It just doesn't, that's not happening. And then about the most difficult thing that I've done was a 144 color bag, which the bag itself, like the patterns itself, is not the difficult part. And I'm not sure if logistics is the right term for it, but there's something behind the scenes, behind the knots itself, that was harder than the pattern was. And that was the fact that there's 144 colors. If one green runs out, I need to be able to match the exact same green to make it work. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, a shawl of knots. Well, okay, this stuff feels like canvas, like a dense canvas. Eventually, it would break in and feel like denim, I would imagine. Which, that would be kind of, it would probably be kind of dope, because it would last a really long time. This is like heirloom stuffs, but just, can you imagine? Like, yeah. Somebody told me on Instagram, you think a shawl is a bad idea. Somebody told me they can't wait to see me make a rug. I'm like, are you kidding me? It would break my heart every time it got stepped on. Like, all that work that it takes to go into it, that would just kill me. So yeah, no, people come up with crazy ideas, you know, and let's face it, like, sometimes it's a crazy idea, and then sometimes it's like, ooh, that might actually work, and then I get inspired and I want to go try something. But yeah, shawl is just way too big. Yeah, and that, literally same here. My knots are tight enough that, yeah, it would be pretty rugged. Yeah, the thing I think if I was going to make something big that you could wear, I think I would go back to an idea I had in the late 80s, and that would be to make a piece of fabric the size of the patch on the back of a blue jean jacket, and then sew it to the inside of the jacket, and then on the outside cut out, like, once it's all sewn in, just take a scissors and just kind of cut like some big slashes in that one sort of, what do they call that, trapezoid, where it's a little bit taller here and shorter here. So it's a trapezoid, right? So then take it and cut out the leather over that part of the trapezoid to reveal the thing underneath, and do it in such a way that it can get frayed and stringy knots kind of hanging out, or, you know, of the denim, but the work that's behind it is completely there. So, like, the more times you wash it and stuff, the more the denim gets torn away, revealing more and more of the bracelet work. I'd actually started on something like that, but I went a little bit too overboard. I wanted to have like kind of random patterns and stuff in it, and it kind of got out of hand, and I was having trouble figuring out how I was going to change large swatches of areas with different colors and stuff, and I stopped working on it, and it's all out of DMC floss, so I can't bring myself to buying enough DMC to actually finish the thing. I still have it. It's around here somewhere. I think. Hang on. Grab my mouse here for a second. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if you look there, that's it. That's the complicated piece. It was going to be the back of my jacket. So it's actually over on my website. And obviously that thing is absolutely ridiculous. So, but yeah. And I still have it. That is like from '89 or so. Oh, so the other thing I did, I don't know, maybe this is just me and because I do bullet journals and stuff, but when I look at this pattern, I see washi tape. Am I right? Is it just me? It's got that like little thin stripe and stuff. Yeah. Like that doesn't just creep me out, the fact that I've been doing knots longer than you've been alive. Yeah. Back then I could catch it on sale and I could get it for 25 cents each. Um, and occasionally um, you could get a sale for where you get it 20 cents each. I I got the flyer where it was like 20 cents each, and it said limit to like 20 or 30. I don't know what it was. It was something really low, and like I am like actively hunting for the manager of the store, and this poor guy, he's just, there's people wanting fabric and they want this and they want whatever, and I asked, is there any way that I could have more floss than just the 20 or whatever? He's like, you can get whatever you want, man. I don't care. You got it. I ended up with, I forget how long the receipt was, but I got like $100 worth of the stuff, and the receipt was the most ridiculous thing ever. It was like, I want to say it was like 12 foot, 11 foot, 12 foot. So yeah, I don't know what that is in meters. It's a few. It took up my whole hallway. It was crazy. So yeah, it was good times. But yeah, I don't think that they get sales quite like that any longer, which is unfortunate. Besides, if I was going to do it now, sticking to a set pattern for the whole thing is still pretty cool. It is totally something I am used to. There was a point where I changed from cutting my strings in quarters to cutting it into thirds, and because thirds is so much longer, it bothered my shoulder for about the first month. But then I basically adapted to it, and no, I don't get pain anymore. And welcome to the chat. Yeah, no, my hands don't. No, yeah, no. That's the closest thing to pains was the shoulder thing for a little bit there, but I do. Right. So yeah, you gotta, when it comes to tying the knot, you do have to go for comfort, and I do have things like, so I have these, right, that kind of help with the whole making sure that I have the strength in my hands and release the tension of doing knots for all day. But yeah, there is a whole eventually kind of build up to where it's no longer a problem anymore. It's like exercise, I guess. Just done it enough. Hey, my new craft. Welcome, welcome. You didn't miss too much. We were talking about this new little bag that I'm making, which has been a lot of fun for me so far. So yeah, so this is the pattern here, right? So basically we have chevrons going on with that pattern that does the little eights or whatever. We should name that thing like the crazy eight pattern or something. In between it, and so yeah, this is how it's looking so far. The neat thing is I've changed up the way the colors are between the different segments, so that sort of gives it a little bit of an interesting look to it. And then I was explaining how if I was to just do a single row with the chevrons, it would be very confusing and really just take all the fun out of this this other pattern. So what I've done is I brought these down to a point, which gives me about 6 rows to be able to work with to create my pattern inside of it. And that's what's here. Yeah, no secret word game this week. Wait, something else. Where's your bracelets? Okay. Yeah, okay, so pulling too hard is definitely a thing. You need to you want it to be tight, but you don't want it to be so tight that you're causing yourself pain. Like there is a limit to it. So yeah, that's practice. There's also the whole like trying to be comfortable, like making sure that you are in fact really comfortable. If you have a board, having it up to a table or something, making sure that you're just as comfortable as you can be. Because I can't even stress that enough. Like when I was young, I would sit in the most weirdest whatever, but I can see now like that may have played a role in why I have back trouble. So yeah, like getting really comfortable and having some kind of like a ergonomic way of setting yourself up will make all the difference in the world. And then yeah, learning how to have tension without it being too harsh. Mind you, I have some calluses in like some odd places, like right here on my middle finger where the string comes across this way. I have a callus here, you know. Those things kind of come with the whole time or whatever. But yeah, I try to, when I'm pulling, I kind of come up across here. So some of it is a bit of practice. Yeah. definitely, you know, if anything, so I have this. Like if I'm not on the camera or whatever, I have this thing, right? So I know Ben and Jerry's cookie dough, right? But it's a timer, right? Get yourself like this, a little kitchen timer. Set it for like, well, if you're just starting out, maybe set it for like 15-20 minutes, right? Then when the thing goes off, take a break, stretch out your fingers, just relax for a little bit. Friendship bracelets are a hobby, I'm guessing, right? So there's no reason why your hobby should be like hurting you. Over time, maybe you build up, maybe you realize that, you know, you can do 20 minutes, no problem. You bring it up, maybe you do 30 minutes. But having a little stretch in between will do a world of good. It really does. It also helps with the whole mental aspect of it. Like, honestly, a little break here and there will, you know, it definitely does me some good. So, yeah. Yeah, well, it comes to experience. I've got a few years at this. Yeah, since 1987. So yeah, and since I'm older, like honestly, I really have to like kind of use more caution. So like when I talk about clipboards and easels and things like this, it comes from a place where if I tried to do it the way some of these kids today do it, like with a safety pin on a pillow or taping it to a table, these kind of things, like honestly, it can work for you for now, but in the long run, you're just setting yourself up for hurt, and there's no need for that. Like that's just, it just seems like such a bad way to go. So I talked about this a little bit in the previous bag, and here you can kind of see it. So I was saying before, like where it does the little figure 8, that area can be elongated to any number that you want. So like you can stretch it out. So in this case here, you can see that instead of just doing a little 8, we've added on a whole extra little piece down here. And again, this is because I don't want to have the little chevrons at the end of the bag to stretch it out. This will give me the length on the bag that I want. We have somebody else joined. Oh wait, my top joined. Hey, hey Anna, awesome. Oh, Anna was the one that almost won, right? Anna, you came so close. I was trying so hard to help you that day to win the secret word game, and I can't remember the name of the actual winner, but after you left, they came in and they were talking about the fact that they had seen the previous video and they knew what the word had been, and when they said the magic word, they actually, that was it. The little bot there went and did the congratulations, and yeah, that was pretty cool. But it was almost you. I do remember. So anyways, so yeah, so you can see here, I've stretched out the pattern just a little bit, as well as, so not only is this one longer, this one here is longer as well. And then the last one will go back to the same short like at the top. So that's how I was able to lengthen the pattern and maintain the symmetry. So the other bag, this one, I had added 3 rows down at the bottom. Well, I added 2 rows here, and I've added 2 rows down here. So basically, this bag will only be 1 row longer, but it'll kind of almost hidden away how it got to be there. So yeah. The whole end of this one's in a tangled up mess. I have no idea why every once in a while my string likes to do this. I'm a bit nearsighted too, so that makes it extra challenging. There we go. So as you can see, I have pretty much worked the whole chevron side of it all the way down to the end of those points. So I'm nearly as far as I can go, which is fine because that's about all there is of this. I have to say that I did not expect this bag to be able to come along as quickly as it has. It's been just a few days worth of work, and I feel like I'm really made a lot of progress on it. So yeah. So again, that chevron area just looks bigger because it's 2 rows wider. That's what gives it that look of being bigger, because it literally is. But it's funny because in my mind it seems like it's a lot bigger than it really is. So that's kind of neat. The corn plant? Yeah, we have a corn. These colors. Yeah, so these colors are sort of the colors of the leaves of our corn plant. I'm sure it's got a smarter name that doesn't seem so silly, but I'll be darned if I know what that is. I know it's in the cane family, if that makes any sense. That's about all I know. we recently did that with 2 stores. Daiso got away with not getting anything, and then Art Friend. Any day I can walk out of Art Friend without, you know, a bunch of stuff. I have fought temptation, and yeah. Well, one of the things that I do besides tying knots now is I have a bullet journal, and I'm always on the lookout for stuff for it. Like, I have like enough washi tape probably to last me the next couple of years. Mind you, that's not a ton. I have different color washi tape for each month, so that way each page of the said month has a certain kind of colorish theme to it, which makes it easier later on when you know that in July you did a thing and you're trying to find out when it is. Once you see what July's washi tape is, it's easy to kind of scan through and find the stuff. So like when I mailed out, you know, bracelets or whatever else, it's kind of those kind of things are written in my journal. So yeah. Wow. Now I imagine, Rainbow, that had to be super difficult considering you are definitely a person who is into the arts and crafts supplies. Yeah, so I use washi tape in my bullet journal. It's probably pretty much the only thing. I got a bunch of like Christmas ones, and then basically just keep one for the year, and the rest Mandy can use for presents and stuff. But yeah, I have a thing for that stuff, man. Alright, so now it's time to roll this thing around and see where we are. So you can see, whoop, moving the mic around. Gosh, the difference between, all I did was I raised the diamond of this one, and that came all the way down to here. Now I raise the diamond of this one and this one. This piece here will come down just as far. Doesn't seem possible, does it? But it is. That's common plant? What the? Yikes. So mulled wine, what does that even mean? Is it meant to be mulled over? Oh, it had some lumpies at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, books can add up quick.
Yes, bracelet making is a great way to deal with ADHD at times. And yeah, I'm medicated for my ADHD now. But yeah, um, it really is a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? I mean, because honestly, I have found days where I get to tying knots and get into a zone, and I'm incredibly productive, but I've managed to somehow not drink anything or eat anything or get up to use the toilet for like 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. By the time I suddenly realize that, like, oh, I should have eaten something today, it's, yeah. No, I'm a huge supporter of people who have ADHD and getting it out there, getting it known that it's a real thing and that the medications that we need should not be so troublesome to get. Like, honestly, my dad can have all kinds of medicine. Some are like incredibly toxic or whatever. You can't touch him with your bare hands kind of stuff. But he can have all his stuff delivered to the house. I can't have my ADHD meds because it's a scheduled drug. You know, like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, it just, I guess because non ADHD people could abuse it. But honestly, like, I have to like set myself multiple reminders to make sure that I take my meds. So I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, that hyper focus thing. It can be great. Like, when I was working on some of my big projects, days of hyper focus are like, wow, look how much I accomplished. But then, of course, I always got down on myself if the next day I can't find that kind of focus again and can't produce that kind of productivity. Uh, yeah, it's most people don't understand like how incredibly frustrating ADHD can be. Yeah, so I do want to be a advocate that helps to promote understanding that it's not always, hey, look, there's a squirrel kind of thing. That can totally happen, but there's a lot of other stuff to ADHD as well. Yeah, well, like, even my parents were like afraid that the medicine would somehow make me zone out or whatever. Like, they they didn't know what was good, what was bad. They just hear other people talking like, you shouldn't need drugs. Kids are just naturally whatever and da 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 da. I definitely wonder like how different my life might have been had I learned more about ADHD when I was younger. And well, you have a hyper kid, right? Kid that's bouncing off the wall as it is, and then you tell them that you want to basically give them low doses of meth, right? It just sounds totally stupid. It doesn't sound like it would make any sense. If anything, I'm calmer on my meds, so it really, I don't understand. But apparently it's got something to do with the dopamine in your brain and getting it to certain parts of your brain that control executive function, and that's the big part of ADHD that makes every day with ADHD difficult. Is we lack something that's really basic in a neurotypical mind, and that's the ability to kind of regulate and balance things out and make better use of things. And that's why we kind of, if we get into something, we stay with it, because changing tasks is difficult.
You know, getting your mind to wrap around the idea of doing dishes when you've been doing your knots just doesn't seem possible, you know. And then once you do that, you almost don't want to go back to doing the knots afterwards. It's just, you stick with one thing for however long. It's, yeah, caffeine was, yeah, that's a self-regulating thing as well. Yeah, that totally is a thing. That's, a lot of people joke about that, but yeah, that's true. But that's why people with ADHD are known to try different drugs or different whatever, that it's self-medications, because some aspects of it is really, really difficult. So yeah. Well, sometimes it's not even just denial. It's, you know, so Mandy just said that, you know, when parents are in denial about the thing. My parents had no doubt that I had the ADHD, but they also knew I had a very clever mind. That I was able to pick up on things that I was interested in really quickly. And they thought that because I was so smart and whatever, they didn't want the drugs to zap my creativity or take away from this, you know, my personality, you know, however like high strung and whatever problems I was having. They thought that it was better that I deal with them with the without the meds than to have them. And it's like they made it, they weren't in denial about it at all. They were actively said, no, we think that, you know, he should buck up and do it the hard way, like they were used to doing it. Like their whole lives, whatever ailments they had, they just, you know, mustered on. So yeah. Right. Now, it wasn't like the doctors didn't like, heck, doctors, my teachers, pretty much everybody knew it was a problem. In fact, when I decided to ask my shrink about getting help for that, as well as I'm also have manic depression. And when I told her that I was interested in doing something about it, like she didn't even hesitate. Like she knew already. Like, yep, all the signs were out there, loud as can be, in neon, as ADHD. Uses humor in uncomfortable situations because he didn't know what else to say, you know. All kinds of whatever she knew. I've only been on meds for what, a little more than a year now, right? Like a year and a quarter, maybe not even a year and a half, I don't think. So now it looks a little bit weird, but this is normal. So here and here are the same distance. This side has already been done out, and we're working inside of this area here, right? So that's, it just kind of looks funny because this is going to get reversed out this way. So yeah, this is on point. So yeah, the last one we did was in the bluish color. This is the greens. And that's kind of fun. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, that's probably it. Untreated ADHD and manic depression. Yeah. Kind of feels like you can't leave the car revving so hard for so long without something going. Oh yeah, it is. So I managed to get the bracelet sent out that following Monday, so it was kind of late in the day, so I'm not sure if the mail got picked up or if it would have gone out on Tuesday. And I have absolutely no idea how long. When we special shipped a bag to Detroit, it took a week. But I don't know with regular post how long that takes. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Jolly. I'm glad. I really like having this the space to be able to do the live streams. I mean, obviously in the tutorial videos it's a little bit easier to like learn how to actually do something, but I like this for being able to answer questions and hang out with good people. I've never had to ban anybody from here so far, so that's kind of good. Yeah, I want, if anything else, I do want the whole channel here to be about inspiring people. And kind of, I guess it sort of seems that like a lot of the videos that people want to see from me are like these bigger projects, which they just take so much longer to actually make. And this is the part here, like the parts in between the video that take the longest, and like you guys typically don't get to see this part of it. So I kind of like the idea that this can be part of, you know, a camaraderie, and then later when the actual video comes out you'd be like, oh, I know when it was, you know, just building that middle section there. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm waiting to see when Minute Craft goes and takes the plunge and dives into something like a bag like this or something big. Yeah, a little less minute. Then After that, it'll be minute craft. You know, that took about a minute. When it stops being minute. Heck, I got Rainbow to make a bag. Hers turned out pretty awesome. So Rainbow Haze, do you still carry around your bag? Or did it get some kind of place of honor on a shelf? I could do that. I think Rainbow is referring to the fact that when she was starting up hers, she got a little bit hung up on some of the ideas or whatever, and we hung out and we talked and something clicked, and before you knew it, there was this really cool little bag was made, and yeah. Aw. That's unfortunate, because it's a beautiful little bag. It should get used. Looks like 8-Ball is eating comments now. Every once in a while I have, you know, genuinely good commentary. It's not all dad jokes. Sometimes it's puns. So as you can see, just barely even getting into this, adding a couple rows has allowed this whole section over here to come down greatly. And this is what I was saying about the segment knotting. It just makes it go so much faster. No, but I did do tubes that go over top of. So apparently doctors, like, they spend quite a bit of money on their stethoscope. I'm not sure if I'm saying that exactly right, but I think it sounds right to me. The thing that they use to listen, that's really cold, they put on your chest to listen to your lungs and your heartbeat. Yeah, that thing. I did stretches of little tube to go around that, so that way the doctor could recognize it. Also, so that way, apparently getting kids to like look at it or whatever, so they like stop freaking out, is apparently a thing. But yeah, I had a doctor that I did that for. I own a pair of crutches because I hurt my, I think it was my hip or something. I haven't actually considered. I don't like use it enough that I would have it decorated. I imagine if I was going to do something like that, it would be for somebody who had to walk and use it like all the time, because then that would be really cool. Like I would totally be into it. Yeah, we thought about doing it like, yeah, something for on a luggage handle. That would have been fun. But yeah, like if I knew somebody who had like multiple sclerosis or one of those kind of things that like needed a cane all the time, I would be totally down with doing something for them. I think it'd be hard, kind of hard to do. Well, I don't know, because like some of the things like actually need the piece to work on. So I don't know. Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah, the doctor really was digging on it, and like I said, they spent a bunch of money on it, so they were able to discern theirs from anybody else's, and that was his big take on it. I like the notion though of being able to do like custom works for people who could really appreciate and use the things and stuff. You know, I think that's kind of neat. One of the projects to me, it was just like, I'm just making bracelets, but apparently it meant a whole world to them. Was somebody's grandmother passed away and they found all this embroidery floss, and they were just going to donate it to whoever wanted it, and I made, what was it, 8 or 10 bracelets out of all of the string that was there, and passed that back to the family. That was a pretty good one. That was like using the strings for better stuff, you know. That was fun. Yeah, I should find a cane that's like tall enough for me, and then do it now, as opposed to waiting until fibromyalgia. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Right. Yeah, so much in the same way that this is a tube, there's some tutorials. I'm not sure if it's in the intermediate group or if it's in the advanced, but where I showed how to make tubes, you can totally use that knowledge to be able to do something around a cane, and I think that would be brilliant, you know, be able to really show your work as you're walking around with it. I think that would be absolutely brilliant. You could do it where either you end up with tassels hanging down, or you can do it to where as you slide it on, you let the loose ends like this down here, you can make it so that way they go in like tucked up inside, and yeah, that might make for a good look. Raise this up just a bit. And the neat thing, if you did it on like the long downwards part of the cane, right, and you get your bracelet work on it, because it's virtually no friction or whatever, it'll last many years, and over time the dirt and everything else that it slowly gains or whatever, you can hose it down and it'll come out somewhat. But it'll age, and it will show, you know, that it is a piece that has been there for a while. I think that would be amazing. I think that's, if you haven't thought about doing that before, I think you should totally think about that now. If you need help, I will do what I can to help. I definitely try what I can. That reminds me, part of what makes all of this possible is Patreon. So these great people that you see going by here, they contribute to help keep my channel going and help me to get things like the cameras and all of that. So this is, yeah, I have to thank them a lot for everything that they do. And I do have to say that, you know, when it comes to helping people out, I do probably prioritize them above all because of how they have helped to finance parts of this channel. But that said, I don't think I would ever just turn somebody away that was actively seeking my help. So, you know, I don't like hide behind a paywall and you have to pay me or else. That wouldn't be right. But yeah. Oh, and the cool new thing is that now my Patreon is done up in a way where if you join at this time of the month, then the billing is always at that same time of the month. It used to be like you could start at the end and then get hit with the bill right first thing, because it would always bill at the beginning of the month, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, that's all been fixed now. Yeah, so as I was saying before, this whole segment thing, you can see like this whole little area has just come along so quickly. Yeah, I would definitely say if you want to start with a project of doing a tube, a couple videos that come to my mind that would make the most sense is the tube bracelet videos. Like you can actually just like look at my channel, like do a search for the tube ones. And then there is a one on how to gauge for doing a bag. And it basically covers the math to be able to figure out how many strings you need to make it a particular size. Because you're going to try to figure out the circumference of the cane itself, that would be a thing. So yeah. Do you ever get the impression that Rainbow has like a haystack or something? How do you lose so many needles? You've got magnetic things, you've got... So in case I make a mistake, I have a little thing. Let's see if I can turn this lights in the way. So I have this whiteboard over here that's metal, and on it are these little teeny magnets. And what I can do is I can take my little needle that I have, right, this guy, and it just sticks to those magnets. So the moment I'm not actually using it, it goes straight over there like that. That would be kind of the smarter way so you don't lose stuff. Oh, I don't like this. I moved my light and I moved my camera, and suddenly I couldn't read the chat. Yeah, okay. That's Jolly. That is really good. That you're not trying to get into the deep end before, too soon or something. That's admirable. Know your strengths. Get good at it. No, right on. When I started out way back when, as soon as I figured out on doubling patterns and stuff, I went all in and went with something 7 bracelets wide, and at that time I was doing like 16 string bracelets, so I went 7 wide. This ended up being a big huge thing on my arm, and I kept trying to talk friends and people into like buying stuff like that from me to have for themselves. Nobody wants something that big. That's why the bags are so great. It's a way to make something big that people actually really like. So, yeah, go figure. Nice. It's so awesome when like people like talk to me about like the videos that I've made, that they want to try doing things that I taught. I don't know. I feel proud like a parent, like that was my baby's out there and making me proud, kind of thing. That's awesome. Bag number 2 was pretty intense. I hated that thing. Unlike this pattern where the diamonds are consistent and stay the same or whatever, that one changed, and that just made it so hard. I hated that bracelet. Jolly Rainbow, I love it. Well, Jolly, after you finish it, you gotta make sure to tag me in the post so I can see. Oh yeah, I don't have the button for that anymore. I used I used to have a hashtag that I used a lot that was inspired by AKAAWOL. And I used to be able to have a button I could push that would actually make that come up, but yeah, I don't have that button anymore. That's sad. I have to redo that artwork. Mind you, if you need the pattern for that bag, I can make a pattern. Like, this is how my patterns look. I could get you a pattern for it, and you could go ahead and try your luck and actually make it happen. But I'm telling you, that bag, that's a lot of work. Of all the patterns of all the bags I've ever made, that was the worst. Sure. Whoops, wrong button. There it is. Blue pillow, all nice and finished. I love how it makes the camera change colors. It goes almost white and then back to the darker blue again. It's so cool. It's actually a pillow now. It's actually sitting on my couch. It's so awesome. Oh, Mandy's gonna go get it. It's actually a proper pillow now. So check it out. It's got this really cool faded denim backing to it. And now it's all big and squishy. I love it. And then the orange one. Yeah. Yeah, it does, right? It is kind of scaly, like a dragon thing. I totally agree. And then with the two of them together, it's just such a beautiful contrast. I love it. I am so pleased. Yeah, I am super stoked about the whole thing. It's funny because Mandy's uncle doesn't come over that frequently, so I think he's only been over twice since I did the orange pillow. So when he comes over and sees the blue one, he's gonna be like, "Did you do that?" Yeah, I did that. Like, he can't get over the stuff that I make. Like, I made a Christmas tree shelf like thing, and he was busy taking photos to share with the family. Like, look what this guy is doing, kind of stuff. Just cracks me up. Yeah, the funny thing too, like, once I finished the blue pillow, it kind of hit me. Like, I may do a dovetail pattern again someday, but never again am I going to pick up 188 strands and do something like this. Like, that pillow is one of a kind. That's it. I came to do a thing and I did it, and it's over, and I'll have it for many years, and I can appreciate all the effort that went into it. but like I honestly don't see me wanting to duplicate it ever. Even if somebody was like, "Oh, I'll pay you to do," I don't want to do that again. It was hard. It was not hard in like having to look at a pattern and make sure I'm doing. It was hard to stay motivated and concentrate on one thing that never changed for so long. That goes against all my natural instincts. Like the whole part of like what makes them challenging is making sure that you don't make a mistake on a pattern. You know, that's the part that intrigues me. And to do something that was so repetitive, that was difficult. So yeah, it's a thing of history now. Yeah, learning the basics is really key. Getting tension down without, hurting yourself, that's a thing. Having the right equipment. Like I have probably 6 different clipboards at least. And depending on what kind of table I'm sitting at or what kind of project I'm working on will depend on what kind of clipboard I'm using. The easel I have is not my first easel. My first easel is behind me, right there, and it's propping up the light and some decorations behind me. It was a bit of overkill. This little easel I got for like $30, that's all I need. It holds the board right where I want it and does what I need it to do. So there is a little bit of trial and error to find the thing that'll give you the most comfort. Because you don't want the work up so high, because that'll definitely get your shoulders. You don't want it so low, because that'll get your neck. You want to be sitting in a comfortable position in a nice chair and have it just out in front of you. I wish you could see me from the side. I can literally rest my elbows on the armrest of my chair and still be able to reach this. So, it's all about finding that level of comfort, and then you kind of get used to it. If you're in an area where like the humidity is a problem, you can get a yo-yo glove, which has like a couple fingers that are, well, here, I'll get it up. So this is a yo-yo glove. And well, maybe it'll be better to do this one. And that's what it covers. And you can use your fingernails off of these ones when you're trying to get at your strings, but this will let the strings kind of slide through because this is nice and slippery. It really helps if you're like in an area where humidity is a problem. Keeps your fingers from getting too torn up. It's not my favorite thing, but back when I had to work out in the living room with mom and like no air conditioners or no nothing, like yeah, it was a must. So yeah. Again, it's about finding comfort. It's made for yo-yo people. That's deliberately, that's the way those gloves are done. There you go. Awesome. That's awesome, Joey. You have definitely made my evening here tonight to know that my videos are connecting with people and helping them to to do this stuff. So just string things. Are you going to make a cushion? Or are you trying to bait me into one? I don't know why the last one, this thing came out perfect. Got more lumpies. Cool, as long as it's not just me. Okay. Rotate this around again. So yeah, take a look at this. This is what we've accomplished so far tonight. We did this area here and this area here. Now mind you, I could bring the diamond down in between here, but I think for now I'm just going to continue around and bring the diamond down on this one, and then we can work on what's in between of that here. So that's the area. Stick this thing back in the middle. I try to take all the string that's not going to get used and just get it moved off and out of the way. It really helps kind of keep things moving along a little bit faster and keeps the things that you know that you're not touching any of these, right? And anything off to here is definitely out. And then I don't really need these right now, so this can kind of go off to a different area. That way I can just stay concentrated to one little spot at a time. Right, a pincushion. That'd be kind of neat. Oh, if you're going to do a pincushion, right? So you could just do a wide bracelet and sew it to whatever other material you want to use, leather or denim or whatever you wanted to. And you could use all your scrap strings that you cut off from the end of the bracelets when you're done and just shove it in there before you do the last side of stitching it in. Like that would, if you packed it in there really, really tight, you'd have a great pin cushion. Although, I have to admit, the pins eventually destroy the fabric, so it'll be awesome for the first, 5 years or so. And then it's going to start to age and you'll feel bad that it's going. Still a cool project though. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm really big on don't start projects until the other one's finished, mostly because I know that I could go down that rabbit hole of starting too many things. So yeah, I definitely put the kibosh on that. So yeah, I totally relate. Yeah. The scary part is people actually looking at me and talking about being grown up. Like, that's... when did I become a grown up? happening. Never gonna happen. As an example of my childish ways, I've talked my wife into getting me a new fidget toy for Christmas. So, yes, that's part of the whole ADHD thing, kind of at times. I don't know, it's something like anxiety. Hey, I'm wearing We Bare Bear shoes. That's not fair. That's but yeah, I have a thing about the fidget toys where if there's no conversation, like just our car ride into the city or something, I have to be kind of doing something. So fidget things have becoming sort of my go-to dealing with anxieties and stuff. Yeah, and I've only like recently learned like certain things like apparently that ADHD people will do over people neurotypicals. So an example of that would be if you tell me a story of a time that you broke your leg, I would naturally go to the, oh, I too broke my leg, and tell you the story about how I broke my leg because in my mind, I'm showing that I understand the pain you went through. Um, it just seems like a natural thing to me. Like that. Yeah, I can relate because I too did a thing. But apparently, neurotypical people don't do that, and I didn't know that. And so, a lot of people are like, "Why do you always have to make it about yourself?" Like, I'm not trying to make it about myself. I'm just like, yeah. So yeah, little things like that. So now I try to keep quiet and just play with my little toy, and I might not join conversations as much as I used to because I just don't know what is normal. And yeah. Right? Empathy is natural, right? Yeah, jolly. I'm right. Yeah, I think if you're drawn to my channel, there's a good chance you should be probably checked for some kind of mental ailment, possibly. I think we're all just a little bit crazy. Anybody who looks at that pillow and thinks, huh, I want to do that someday, got to be a little bit crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure what. So I think that when it comes to like the bracelet making, especially when you've been doing it for a long time or you're really drawn into it, I do think that there is a sense of like the ADHD where it's calming to do something that's so repetitive, and like especially when you're like starting out and it's just chevrons and it's so just mindless going one side or another, like just doing this part here, right? I don't have to think about anything, too difficult, right? Just which direction am I going to go? That's all about the only thought I have to really think about. um and it being so relaxing or whatever. So I do think that a lot of people that make bracelets and do certain kind of craft work like this, I definitely think that they were probably drawn to it because of something like ADHD or ADD or one of those kind of things. Um, I don't know if like the people who do oil painting and stuff, if they can maybe find that same kind of zone, because I can't seem to do that kind of stuff myself so much. So I don't know. It's a possibility that yeah, it might be, but I definitely think that like there is a meditation type of therapy that bracelets give. So yeah, it's you're right. It relieves anxieties. Like that's the thing. And mind you, I've been creative like most of my whole life. Like when I was just little, I was designing needle points and stuff, doing the continental stitch and doing things like that, you know. And my mom was all for it because I would sit with a needle and yarn and keep myself entertained for hours on end quietly. It was like the few times that I was that genuinely quiet. So yeah. Yeah, there is art therapy. Like I totally get into the whole like I have paintbrushes and watercolors and that kind of stuff around here, and I try it, and it can be calming, but then it can be very frustrating to me too. Like I can't quite get my stuff down. I haven't done needlepoint in a long time. Probably 13, 14 years now. I have since the last time I did needlepoint. Um, Mostly just this now, mostly because I have the channel and I want to have content for my channel. That if I picked up a needlepoint or anything too big of a other project, that would be it for a while. Like obviously those things take time. If I was going to do a needlepoint now, I think I would go. One of my favorite ones when I was younger was called Bargello, which is these really neat geographic, not geographic, geometric shapes and things that kind of you come through the out one hole, skip three and in, and by doing this like 5 hole stretch, whatever, it just makes these patterns that are absolutely amazing. I love that stuff. I think it's really cool, and it's such a retro look. It's such a 70s thing, but I love it. That's what I like about the orange pillow. It kind of gives that same sort of vibe to it. And then beanbag chairs, right? So you the lava lamp, some beanbag chairs, a few little throw pillows tossed around. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. There's something about curating a fabric like this that just, you know, it's just gonna last for so long. I mean, I made a bracelet when I came to Singapore while I was on the flight. I wore that thing for 6 years before it started getting so frayed at the edges I was afraid it would drop. 6 years of everyday wear. That's impressive. Like that's a really strong fabric. Right. Yeah, the bracelet that my wife has been about 6 years. Little tube bracelet I made for her. Tried to see how few strings I could do a tube in, and I did like a zigzag pattern, and it's just a little teeny tiny thing. So yeah, this is it. It's just a little bracelet. It's 8 colors, I think. But yeah, 6 years of everyday wear. So hopefully, if nothing else that you guys take from this video is, if you want to mix up and have a bag or a really wide bracelet, even if, let's say, you wanted to just do this in 2, right? You can have a bracelet that looks like it's 2 bracelets side by side by simply doing what I've done here. And obviously this is relatively simple. You can see how quickly I'm going through it. So like on my wrist I've got all these, right? We have the one that Minute made me, we have the one I made me, and then we have the barricade that keeps the one that Rainbow Haze made me, kind of keeps it at bay over here. But you could literally make these like two, like be one solid piece of bracelet in the makings, right? Or we brought this one down here. They could all be one solid piece with just separate whatever, right? Because that's what this is. It's all one solid piece. It just doesn't look like it should be. So hopefully you're seeing kind of the gist of how the easiest version is, and maybe you do the easy one, or maybe you try a couple different other designs, you know. Anything's possible. So just string things. I'm picturing her seeing something as big as one of my pillows and stuff, and I would love to have been a fly on the wall. I'd love to have seen what the initial reaction was when realizing that there's somebody out there that's just taking this like so much further, so much bigger. That had to be an awesome moment right there. Because I can kind of picture the conversation like, no, he takes these bracelet things, he's made a pillow out of it. Like, how would you make a pillow out of a bracelet? That doesn't make any sense. That's awesome. So I should have this thing done this week. As a result, then I should be able to have the video done this week as well, which means that this patterns and stuff will be over on my website as soon as that video is done, because I'll release the video and the web page at the same time. I think it's still in the bedroom. Sorry, I'm kind of quiet now. I think the wine is starting to kick in. I drank a Coca-Cola. I actually had a regular, real Coca-Cola earlier, and now Mandy had this mulled wine that had to get used up before it went bad. And yeah. It's really kind of sweet, and it's got like a tartness to it that sort of really kind of just smacks the old palate around right there. Gives me an impression that it would take rust off your bumpers. So my watch is mistakenly thinking that I've been walking, and it just told me that earlier it told me I'd walk my 4,000 steps. Now it just got done telling me I've hit my monthly goal for working out. Yeah. That's really relatable. Like 10 kg of lost? Yeah. Save up and get yourself one of these airplane trolleys. That's the investment. That's the big ticket item right there for bracelet makers. If you're gonna go all in, you want a place to store all that string. It's got, I opted to get 6. Hang on. Let me verify that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I opted for 8 drawers. It holds 7 on one side and 1 on the other. The other side then also holds all my totes. So all my string can be in one spot-ish. It should all fit in one spot. Let's put it that way. It, at the moment, does not. There's more string in a trunk. But eventually I'll get it down to where it's just the trolley. Yeah. Knotting is definite workout. It's and it's funny too, because when it comes to the knotting being a workout, it's the patterns that are really easy that you kind of get yourself lost in, and you're just like do and happily chugging along, not thinking about it. Those are the ones that'll get you. It's the difficult ones where you have to stop and you have to look at a pattern and you're, you know, whatever. Those ones, not so much. You know, you're taking it at a slower pace, whatever. Once you get into a rhythm of things, man, bracelet making can be a really good workout. Yeah, plain trolleys are awesome. You have to get it's I had to get mine through Alibaba as opposed to AliExpress. So yeah. Suitcase, you can never be as organized as this thing is. Plus, the ability to roll it from room to room. You have to close up a suitcase to get into it. Like, my thing up is always up. You don't close it and then it tips over and whatever. Everything stays as organized as you had it. Who besides me saw Spirited Away and saw the scene where the little dust thingy or whatever was trying to bring Cole over, and there was that big wall of drawers, and thought to yourself, that is the room that I want to keep my floss in? Like, that's... If that works, just strength, that's awesome. Yeah, medicine drawers. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call it a night here myself. It's I've been at this for a couple of hours straight, and I need to get something to eat before bed. I'm getting kind of worn out. So before I go, I do have to thank my Patreon supporters once again for making all of this stuff possible. I couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are absolutely kept this channel going, so thank you very much. I will be back again next week, most likely with a new project. I think we're going to work on the one that this one inspired next, and yeah, that's more likely than not, that's what we'll be doing. So all right, I will see you guys, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.